Hey there, sports fans. How are we? I'm good, thank you. I'm very well. Cooled down a bit, hasn't it? The weather recently, of late, in the sunny UK. Welcome to the 10 yards back predictions. My predictions, Jim's predictions for the 2025 Betfred Super League round 19. Can you believe it? Round 19. Where's it gone, eh? Where has it gone? Round 18 was fantastic. Real good round of rugby. Round 19 is, if we put the fixtures up, looking okay. I think there's a couple of goodies in there. A couple of just watch them in the backgrounds. And a couple of must-sees. So Saints versus Leigh is one of those, I think, on Thursday night. Huddersfield versus Wakefield on Friday. Could be a good and could be a baddie. Leeds Salford, probably skip it if you have to. Wigan, I'm going to watch it. Wigan versus Hull. I've got that one in the diary. I think that one's going to be a good one. Catalans versus Hull KR and Castleford versus Warrington. They could go either way, couldn't they? So we contextualise this. Where does everyone sit in the table? Where is everyone right now? I think the only real number that matters here is the first one, the 4v3. Everybody else, there's something going on that, means the form right now doesn't really reflect the season. For example, Huddersfield doing very well at the minute, but they're 11th because they've hardly won any games historically all year. So if we look at that, it's okay. Take it with a pinch of salt. But like I said, Saints vs Leigh on Thursday night is absolutely 4v3. So let's have a look into this one, a little bit closer into this one. So 8 o'clock kickoff Thursday night, opening the weekend, Leigh v Saints at the totally wicked stadium. The worst named stadium in the world. Although the brick gave us a bit of a competition there, didn't it? So this will be a good one, no matter where you watch it. I think, to be honest, I'm just going to show you the score I've got here from the start. So I've got this down as 18-6 to Leigh. I think Leigh will take it. Couple of reasons why. So Leigh, not only are they on form, doing very well, got Charlie back last week, who played a blinder. Saints lost both of their hookers last week, but Darryl Clark and the stand-in Jay Burns. They lost both of them. Percival is out after being hospitalised after the game. It's a bit of a skeleton crew again, but it's a skeleton crew that's grown through the season. So I don't think they'll do nothing. The defence last week was fantastic, but I'm imagining what's going to happen is they'll have Mbai at 9, Whitby at 7, and they'll try to work that. I hope they've got some structure in there. Otherwise, it will be a shit game. For me, the question I'm asking here, looking at this one, and when I've looked at a couple of these games in the same way, really, and just asked myself the same question is, where do the points come from in this one? Saints, for a while now, have struggled to score points anyway, but it doesn't really matter because the defence is good. I think they're the second best defence in the league currently, as in points conceded. But their attack, their strike, is not so good. If we look at the pairings that we've got, this is who I'm imagining is going to be playing where the wings. We've got Dagnall, fast kid, but he's up against Charnley, like a fucking veteran Charnley, and then next to him, Percy's out, so it might be Dion Cross, I guess, versus a Myla Hanley, who just seems to be ruining everyone at the minute. On the other side, you've got Harry Robertson versus Tessie New. Come on, man. That's like a man versus a boy, isn't it? And then on the wing on the other side, I can't even think. It doesn't even bode thinking about. They've got Keenan Brand, who just can't do anything. Can't do any wrong, can he, at the minute? So the pairings don't quite match up for me. The hooker, they got Ibape in the middle, running the show. Who Saints will have? I don't know. Maybe Mbai, who's like a half-back hooker. They got Lamb at scrum half, who's fantastic, can run anywhere on the field at any time, and we'll probably have Whitby in at our scrum half. They just don't stack up. So right now, Leigh are looking like absolute giant killers. Beat Wigan, beat Hull KR, beat Leeds. What were the top three in 3 weeks? They can get Saints now, and then that's everyone out of the top five for them, basically, including without beating themselves. So 18-6, I think the score will be. That score for Saints probably coming through someone like Robertson or something, because Robertson is real good in support play, so probably someone like Robertson. Who will score these points? Who wants to score these points? That's the question here. I think they can do anything. I'm not super optimistic about this one. If you can hear it in my voice, but I do think it'll be good. It won't be a blowout because Saints' defence is on point, as is Lee's, so I think it'll be a good arm wrestle to watch that one. All right, Friday night, kicking off the weekend. It's Huddersfield versus Wakefield. Now, I've got 2 words. Jake Truman is back for Wakey. 6 words. And 2 words for Huddersfield. Leigh Leopards is back for Huddersfield. So we got these 2 key players back. Now, on balance, I think that the Jake Truman return for Wakey is much bigger than the Leigh Leopards return for Huddersfield, because he literally played 8 minutes for Huddersfield and then broke his foot. So in classic 2025 Huddersfield fashion, Evalds, the key signing, broke his foot after about 8 minutes of play. That being said, he does offer an awful lot. He's going to free up Gagai. He's going to free up Lollahea in defence. Give them that little bit of strike through the middle that they kind of need. They need permanent strike rather than like Lollahea sort of dipping in and out of it. The interesting thing about this, and I don't like to read too much into this, but these kind of things come from somewhere and they do hold a certain amount of weight, is that Wakefield haven't won at Huddersfield in years, decades, I think. So that could play a part in this, that kind of sword of Damocles hanging over the head sort of thing. But again, if we look at, so the score prediction I've got is 12-30. So if we look at where Huddersfield score their points from, they score through Gagai, Lollahea and Flanagan, like I said. And then after that, there's a pretty sharp drop-off of players that are on the field. So Swift scores a couple, Bibby probably is on the field, he scores a few every now and again. But they've basically got those 3 players who can score points for them. Wakey score points everywhere, so it's going to be a tall order for Huddersfield to win this one, I think. They're going to need Evalds to be an amazing fullback. Probably they need Evalds to be the best fullback in the world to win this, I think. That being said, if Huddersfield do win, I think we're looking at Evalds, Lollahea and Gagai as the key players in this. They really, really need to link up. And I'm worried that it's just a week or two too early for Evalds and Lollahea to really be in touch like that. If Wakey win, we're looking at the obvious ones, really. Jowett and McMeekin. Just marshalling the troops, keeping everyone calm, keeping everyone honest, keeping them on task. Rourke, I'll be interested to see what happens with Rourke here, because Rourke really could pierce holes through this Huddersfield defence. And I think, unfortunately, if Truman stays fit the whole game, which hasn't happened a lot this year, then Jowett is at the back and Rourke is on the bench. So that's my feelings. 30-12. Wakey win that one, in my opinion. Friday, the other game on Friday is Leeds versus Salford. This one's pretty obvious, really, isn't it? The thing with Salford is they only need one more victory all season, and then it's been an amazing season for them. No one expected them to even do as well as this. Two wins with what they've got. shirt number 57 on the field, probably recalled. Like, it's a mad situation, isn't it? I don't think this will be the one that they do, because Leeds are too good at this point. Now, something that I have been thinking about with this is that Leeds like to play a really reactive style at the minute, really reactive style of rugby, that kind of wave that we're talking about, a very fluid style, but it is reactive. Salford are by necessity reactive because they haven't got enough experience as a group to put on plays and be structured. So we've got two pretty reactive teams coming up against each other. I think if there's something like a yellow card or an error in a key position of the field, that could turn this one, and Salford could end up getting quite a lot of points. I've got 36-10 to Leeds. I think that's probably the magnitude it's going to be. But Salford are coming together. For Salford, I really like Hankinson as a player, as a person. I don't know yet. I feel like I wouldn't really like him if I met him. I'm happy to be proved wrong. Like, please reach out. I know you watch. Ethan Ryan, I really like him as a player. I always have done, and Masters as well. Who is just everywhere all the time, isn't he? And for Leeds, I think that this is going to be led primarily through Watkins. I think I'm unsure officially what Watkins' position is at the minute. He seems to be playing kind of a ball playing loose forward kind of role for him, but he's really, really sort of serving up quite a lot of stuff. And I think Watkins is going to rule this, with Ryan Hall being the sort of kick return, making a lot of meters. So I think Hall's going to make loads of meters. Watkins is going to do a lot of assisting. That's kind of the roles that we're going to see there on Friday. Saturday afternoon, that lovely Saturday afternoon fixture, which I love, and we'll probably actually only get to listen to, so I'll have to watch it back. Wigan versus Hull. So this fixture throughout the season has been a good one to watch. In fact, my game of the season, I think so far, game of 2025, has been Wigan versus Hull in the Challenge Cup, when Hull knocked Wigan out. That was an awesome game. And I would love to see something else again come out of it. If you look at the stats on this one, it kind of looks played out. It looks like we know who's going to win this, but again, Wigan are very hit and miss lately, and Hull, even if the quality overall of the Hull side is a little bit lower than that of Wigan, they are quite consistent with it. They are quite consistently at that level. So if Hull get Wigan on a bad day, Hull FC, they can do this. I think it's going to be 20-16. It'd be quite close, I think, because I think that the way that Hull are playing at the minute, they're going to make a lot of meters against the way that we're going to play in, and they can really, really defend. I'm not sure whether they'll win. If they do, I think Caesar will be the man of the match, because I think he's gonna be poking holes in the defence, finding the gaps close to the line, and to be honest, these days kind of midfield as well. He's sort of a halfway hero, isn't he? At the minute, the past couple of weeks, Caesar just seems like no one can grab hold of him. So I think if Hull do win, if they turn it around, and I think it will be about switched around, there's going to be about that many points scored, then they will win, because they haven't conceded that many. I mean, the points conceded for Hull here, they've actually conceded fewer points in the last 7 games. They just haven't scored many points either, but perhaps they can do it. I don't know. Catalans versus the Robins on Saturday is a toughie. I mean, if on average, just take those stats as for whatever you want. I mean, look at the points. The points for, points against for both teams. It's basically just the opposite, isn't it? Catalans have scored as many points in the past 7 games as Hull KR have conceded. Hull KR the same, basically. So it's not looking good for them. On average, Hull KR make 400 more metres a game than Catalans do. So this could be a tough night in the office. I think what Catalans really need here is they need, and I kind of just say this time and time again, but they need to really try to pin Hull KR and tire their forwards out, because they've got stellar forwards on both sides. If you can tire the Hull KR forwards out and stop them from putting on that platform in defence, they might be able to do it. But like I said, they're making so many more metres than Catalans across the board that they really need to keep them in their own half rather than let them into the Catalans half, because if they do, they're going to score tries. I've got this as 28-10 Hull KR to Catalans. I've also got a side bet on this one. I predict 2 yellow cards for the Catalans for high tackles on Artur Morg. Watch it, right? That's my side bet for this game. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying you should do that. I just think that it will happen. All right? Let's go here into the final game of the weekend, baby. Castleford versus Warrington. Now, the stats here, I've switched them up a bit. Points for, points against, whatever. The reason I've put this up is because across the season-wide now, look at those stats. There's basically nothing in it. These two teams, even though Warrington have won 5 more games than Castleford, the teams are basically identical on the spreadsheet. Couple of key ones that are different. So tackle busts for Warrington, they're busting more tackles, and you can imagine that through Dufty and Williams, who are tackle busting machines. Castleford making more meters though, which is interesting. They just aren't converting their chances at the other end of the field. So, and I guess if you can imagine, if you try to contextualize that for yourself, you can kind of see, yeah, that sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Castleford have got those edges that are really, really fast, but they don't really score a lot of tries. Warrington smashing through a lot, scoring some tries, getting a lot not back. The score prediction I've got here is 24-28 because they're so close, and they're two teams that switch off for periods. I mean, Castleford switched off for a key period last week and ended up losing to Salford. Warrington, if Castleford score first, Warrington's head's going to drop for about 15 minutes anyway, so they could get a bit of a roll on there. I think what needs to happen for Castleford here, and it kind of is happening, it's creeping in, is that Chris Atkins starting to take more control of the generalship. So they're becoming like a hooker-led team, and that's allowing Rowan Milne and Dejan Assi, the halfbacks, to kind of do more fancy stuff. Like last week, Assi had a really good game, and in the past couple of weeks, Mills has had a pretty good game too. So I think Atkin needs to take control of those really luxury forwards that Castleford's got, let's be honest, for where they are. They didn't really need Tom Amone, did they? But they've got him, so fine. So they're the names we're looking out for here for Castleford. Warrington, King George, Matt Dufty. The Thewlisses tend to score tries. I'm not sure if they will here because the centres for Castleford are doing pretty good work at the minute. So we'll see how it plays out. All right, there are my predictions for the weekend. Let me know yours. Let me know who I'm off with, who I'm on with, what you think, whether you agree or not. And then I'll do me, right? Enjoy round 19. Probably when this goes up, I'm probably already wrong about that Saints League game. So let me know how wrong I was, please, in the comments. So thanks, guys. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you Tuesday.